now.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Um, my name is Oluwatayo Alofun, um, and I think I'm meeting everybody for the first time. I'm seeing Adiola on the call on Sunday. Um, Abiodun and I met earlier today, so um, yeah, it would be kind of nice to get to meet each other briefly. So I'll just tell you briefly about myself. I just want to get a sense of who you are, what you do, because also I like this to be as practical as possible, and as relatable as possible to what you do. So like I said, my name is Oluwatayo Alofun. I've been involved with product analytics and marketing analytics for the better part of my career. I've been majorly in the market on the marketing side. I've spent about 10 years there. Um, and I, I think one of the description that I've come to adopt in recent time is the one given by my colleagues. Sometimes ago, one of my colleagues said, I think you are metrics obsessed. You just like to find explanation for everything. And I never thought of it until that time, but yeah, I guess I'm metrics obsessed. So a lot of the things that I do stem from that reality. I'm just very obsessed about what led to what, right? Um, I'm not so much of a luck person. Well, I like the idea of luck when it does not involve money, but when it involves money, I don't like the idea of luck. I want to be able to explain what happened that led to what and resulted in what. I want the process to be repeatable. And I want to be able to control it, right? So when money is involved, I don't want to leave anything to chance. And I think that's what the whole idea of product analytics and all of that is all about. So currently, I work with an agency, a marketing agency, where I coordinate performance marketing. I currently manage a portfolio of 12 different client accounts. Every time I say that, people ask me, how do you survive it? Well, if I tell you that, um, that would be like revealing my trade secret. So I'll keep that for now. But I manage a portfolio of 12 clients. Yeah, it gives me a lot of sleepless nights, but it's been fun. I like the adrenaline rush of the whole process. So that's what I do in a nutshell. Who wants to go next? Welcome, Momotola. My gut feeling is saying I should start from Adiola. Adiola, what do you do?
Oh boy, why are we starting? Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adil, and I work in tech. I currently lead growth at a fintech startup, very early stage.
Okay.
Um, I'm a co-founder at this particular startup. It's called Middleman. We are an escrow payment platform. We started as an escrow payments platform, but now we are sort of like an ecosystem of tools that help e-commerce businesses thrive. Yeah, so I pretty much joined this class to. I mean, I've always known that you cannot grow what you can't measure. So I pretty much joined this class to so that we can grow.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so we'll come to Sunday. Sunday, what do you do? You are
Yeah, good
muted.
afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Sorry, I was muted. I
We
was
can hear you.
speaking.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Akin Labi, and I work as a digital lead in one of the agency over here in Nigeria. That is Intense Digital. And
Oh, I know it says.
yeah, so it's one of the best performance and data driven digital transformation and growth agency, and focus primarily is on growth and how to use performance to drive impacts. I've
Mm,
been in that space for like 5 plus years, and as performance manager and growth, and I've been helping uh different brands create a campaign that can win the hearts, mind, and the wallets of their customers. So, and yeah, I think pretty much that is a uh little about me. Yeah, thank you.
all right. Yeah, Omotola, um, over to you. What what do you do?
Hi everyone, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, briefly about me. I currently lead operations and partnership in an edtech company. Also a product manager in a software development company.
Oh, great.
All right.
That's a big one. All right. Yeah, Chijioke, you're welcome. We're just getting introduced. So, if you could please tell us what do you do, um, just so we get familiar with you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
David.
yes,
I
we
don't
can hear you.
you can call me David. You can call me David. You can call me David. Whichever.
Oh, David. Okay. Yeah. So,
Yes,
what
and you
what
can
do
call
you
me David.
do, David?
Okay, so what I do?
Yeah. We can't exactly hear you.
I don't know if you hear me.
Uh, can you hear us? Oh, wow. Oh, I think she is having some network issues. Okay, so are we still expecting any more? Okay, we might just
Yes,
need to.
we're still expecting
All right. So,
that we could start, I think.
yeah. All right. I will share my screen and we can get started. All right. Uh, I know you should be seeing my screen now, but I'm just going to confirm one more time. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
Okay,
you
great.
can.
All right. So, today we are going to be doing introduction, basically. Um, Here's what we are looking to achieve pretty much. So we're going to be going into overview of uh, product analytics. We're going to be examining some scenarios just to get a sense. Usually when we talk about product analytics, I hear people say, "Oh yeah, we should measure it. It's great." But I feel that people, even though people claim that, oh, it's a serious thing, we should be measuring everything and all of that, sometimes people don't know experientially how serious it is that measuring or not measuring can be, right? Theoretically, we claim to know it, but sometimes there are certain realities that just drive that home. So part of the things I want to be able to do in the course of this program at this introductory phase is to be able to, as much as possible, paint a picture of the danger of not embracing product analytics and the benefit of embracing it. I want to be able to paint that picture so clearly in your mind that it disrupts your sleep at night, right? That's the level of picture I am hoping that I can paint to you, all right? The level of benefit, so that you can go back to your firm, and for things that you don't have in place, you can be on their case until they get those things in place, basically. So we'll look at the overview of product analytics. Basically, we'll look into user experience, and then, of course, because this class is going to be hands-on, it's going to be practical. I like practicals. We are going to be using a platform called Pulse. For those that were at the orientation, I'm sure you already saw that. I'm not going to ask about the pre-class materials because something is telling me that most of you did not read those class materials. You are forgiven. All right. So we're going to be using a demo environment of an e-commerce platform that is already integrated with the tools that we're going to be going through in this class. And that takes me to the tools that we're going to be going through. We'll be looking into Hotjar and Microsoft Clarity. We'll be looking into Mixpanel, and we'll be looking into Google Analytics. There are tons of analytics products out there. We just want to focus on those four because they are, in a way, representative of what kind of analytics you should be getting. Now, the most important thing is that you know what the strategy should be in terms of your analytics, one, and two, what should you be capturing in terms of your analytics. Now, when that foundation is settled, it's easier for you to approach tools from that perspective. So I always say to people, don't approach the tool to solve the problem. Know the problem that you want to solve first, and then it's easier for you to know which tool is going to cut it and which one is not. All right. So we're going to do account and profile setup on Pulse, basically. And we are all going to buy something on Pulse. Don't worry, you're not going to pay. It's free of charge. But I want us to populate the data on Pulse. So one of the exercises we're going to do today is to also take a break at some point and populate the data on Pulse. And then, of course, today we are going to be looking more into the theoretical framework. Tomorrow is going to be very heavy on practicals. We'll look a bit into the framework for those practical, but tomorrow we are basically going to be venturing into some of those platforms and getting the general sense of overview of those platforms and all of that. I will be showing you some samples today as well. I mean, they probably will be from other businesses, But from tomorrow, we'll start getting our hands dirty a little bit, for want of a better word. So from an overview point of view, that's what we are hoping to cover in this sense. So I said I was going to start with this icebreaker. Okay, it's a not so icy situation. You are all probably familiar with Accenture. As Accenture is a very big global brand, global consulting brand. They are venturing into a lot of things in recent time. And it's not just them, it's almost all the consulting firm. Every one of them is creating their own marketing agencies and digital marketing agencies and brand agencies and all of that, right? But that's not the point. The point is a car rental company, Hertz, they contracted Accenture to actually build their website. And guess what? The car rental company sued Accenture for $32 million. Just try to picture how much $32 million mean. They sue Accenture for $32 million. And the reason why they were suing Accenture is because I put an extract of the newspaper clipping here. It said among the most mind-boggling allegations in Hertz filed complaint is that Accenture did incorporate a responsive design in which web pages automatically resize to accommodate visitor screen size, whether they are using a phone, a tablet, a desktop, or a laptop. Now, many years ago, the idea of a responsive website won't be a problem, right? Because people really don't care. But in recent time, and this was 2019, by the way, in recent time, what is beginning to happen is that there is a rise in analytics and the consciousness that people are looking at their data and they are saying, look, a lot of the people visiting my website are visiting from mobile, right? So I do not want to deliver the same experience for people who are viewing it on a web platform to people who are viewing on a mobile platform, right? The experience has to be different. It has to be tailored because the way they are viewing it, it's different, right? And the only reason why you are going to care that much, again, when you compare it to how much work is involved in getting that done, the only reason why you are going to care is because analytics is pointing in that direction. Sometimes these you drill down as far as browsers. How your website is rendering on an iOS browser, a Safari, how it is different from how it's rendering on a Chrome, all right? And sometimes you are going to be making a lot of decisions to say, do we want to design exclusively for a Chrome browser as opposed to a Safari browser? And the basis of that decision is to say, and I've been in conversation where we outrightly say, you know what, this is a glitch, but we're not going to fix it. All right. It's not because we don't care about the customer. It is just because by the time we look into the analytics and we look into the effort that will go into it. I'll give you the clear example. We looked at the product, it was working perfectly, desktop, mobile, tablet, everything was working perfectly. And then we saw a particular problem. That particular problem was peculiar only to what's the name of the browser? To Firefox, right? I think, yeah, Firefox, right? And we're like, okay, Safari is good, Chrome is good. People who are browsing using Firefox on mobile are the only place where we're having this problem. And then the next question is, how long is it going to take to fix this problem for that segment of people? All right. And when we look at how much time it's going to take, how much engineering time is going to take to fix that problem, and we look at the percentage, how many people exactly are browsing this website using this, it's infinitely small. Now, it's not that we don't care about them, we care about them, we do love them, but has any of them even make any conversion action in the past, historically? Let's look at it. So it's not only that they are small, they have contributed $0 to conversion in over 2 years. Looking at historical data, the question is really, who care whether this guy go or come, right? So at that point, we had to make a decision to say, okay, this is how much engineering time you want to invest into developing or fixing a feature on a particular browser that only a ridiculously low number of people are going to use. And in the last 2 years, this ridiculously low number of people have not carried out any conversion. So we are burning our time, which is technically burning our cash, to take care of people who historically are of no value, and what gives us the impression that they are going to be of any value going into the future. So we might as well park this by the side and fix it when we are ready. Now, I went through all of that to bring you back again to this scenario of these guys getting sued. And my point in all of this is that a bad product might be more expensive than you think, right? You know, I don't know if what the outcome was about this case, whether Accenture won on, or lost. But the point is, somehow money, they are going to part with money. At the very worst, at the very least, rather, they would part with some money in terms of legal fee, just trying to argue all of that, and back and forth and all of that. That is if they don't even lose and have to pay, a ridiculous amount of penalty. But all of this could have been fixed if people just pay so much attention to what is data saying about this product, right? What is the user behavior saying? How many people do we have in what bucket and all of that? So I went through all of that to just give you that introduction that product analytics might be just more expensive than you think. And one of the things I noticed over time is that sometimes we don't know how expensive this can be. Excuse me. We don't know how expensive this can be because we are not tracking it anyway, so we don't know the difference. It's like someone who has cancer, but the cancer wasn't diagnosed. Now, it is not less of a problem because the person is not aware that he has cancer, right? The situation of the person is going to deteriorate, and one of these days is just going to lose his life, right? It is not any different. In any case, it's worse than person who was actually diagnosed. So who knows that there is a problem, and it is a big problem, right? It's the same thing when I think about product analytics, and when people invest in product analytics and they know exactly what's going on with their product and they know what the problem is, and they could start making plans to fix it. All right. People who have not invested in product analytics, they don't know what the problem is, right? Things may be going on fine for them, but they don't even know what variable is making what do what. Things are going on fine, but why are things going on fine? We don't know. All right. The problem with that is that the day things stop going on fine, we don't even know what variable to go and control because we don't know why things were going on fine in the first place. So product analytics is a big deal. It can cost more than you think. Let me show you a typical scenario of something that actually happened. This is Finish Line. Finish Line is an American retail chain. They sell shoes basically, and they have quite a number of stores, over 660 stores at the moment, and they sell all manner of shoe line. Now, in 2012, Finish Line decided that it was time for some upgrade, right? They want to redesign their website. And they decided to embark on this very massive scale redesigning project and all of that. And it was great. Now, what you have on your screen is what Finish Line look like today, okay? But I'm going to show you what happened when Finish Line decided to embark on this massive redesign. So what you have on, again, depending on, sometimes I used to confuse my right and my left. Yeah, what you have on your, sorry, I don't have my wristwatch on now. I'm really struggling. On your, this is left. Okay, on your right. Anyways, I already labeled it. That's going to solve the problem. It's the old website as at November 18, 2012, which was the day before they rolled out the new website. Okay. For some reason, they decided to embark on a radical shift from what this looked like, right, without any insight, right? And then they came to what you have on the right. This was their new website. This right here, this was their new website on November 19th, 2012. Now, when they rolled out this website, guess what happened? They started losing money. All right. You know, the article says that they lost $3 million in sales when they rolled out the new website. And 17 days later, they could not take it anymore. They had to revert back to the old website. All right. And of course, the rest is history. But the point is, $3 million in $3 million loss in less than 17 days is a big deal for any company. It does not matter whether it is Tesla. $13 million loss in revenue is a huge deal. And all of that because of this rollout. A lot of this could have been prevented if, you know, there has been some user research, there has been some insight and analytics just feeding into all of this and guiding the process to say, look, this is how people would want it. If there is a UX measurement tool, you know, that give them a guidance, this is where people are clicking. Why are people clicking that? This is, you know, look at the video. Where are people having problem? What is this that people think should be engaged with that they are not engaging with? Or what is it that people are engaging with that when you were designing, you didn't think that people were going to engage with that? And I'm going to show you some live scenario, you know, of this kind of thing in a bit. So basically, I'm taking my time to walk you through all of this, helping you to see how people are losing money because they don't pay attention to the analytics of their product. And the truth is, in the same way that people lose a lot of money by not paying attention to the analytics of their product, people make a lot of money by paying attention to the analytics of their product, right? It goes both ways. So the goal in this course is to try and see how we can be on the second side of the divide, right? Know what tools will help us to know what, know how to get what information from what tool, and know how to use that to inform the process of getting analytics to improve our bottom line as opposed to declining it. So, what is product analytics? I believe strongly, and this is just my way of thinking, that it's easier for me to define or to and one of the things about definition, which is, a lot of times I've taught in classes where people are like, no, let's just get straight to the point. We don't need to define. We know what it is. The problem with not defining, I think it's just generally that we don't like defining things as human beings. We like this broad, and that right there is the very first problem in analytics. Things should be definite, right? We should have a definition for things, all right? So I had a background in journalism, and at some point, I took a course in data journalism. It was taken by Bloomberg, and one of the things they were showing us is how Bloomberg does their journalism, and how it was radically different from journalistic practices in Nigeria back in the day. I mean, I didn't stay long in that field, but the one thing that was a big takeaway from that program for me was Bloomberg said, we don't use adjective. In writing our report, we don't use adjective. Now, what that means is Bloomberg is saying, we don't say that you are rich. Rich is relative. We define what it is that we are trying to say, right? So we don't say that a nation is poor or a person is poor. We try to define that, all right? Because that word is relative, right? So in other words, they don't just slam an adjective on people or things, right? They define it relative to something. So Dangote is rich, but so is Elon Musk. So what does it mean to be rich? And guess what? Somebody somewhere right now think I'm rich. Yeah, even though I don't know about that, man. So, but the point is, you are beginning to see. So, if my son asks me now whether I'm rich or not, I don't even know how to answer that question because it's relative. So, I say all of that to say that it is important that we define what exactly do we mean when we say product analytics. And the closest way to doing that is to understand what do we not mean when we say product analytics. If we can rule out everything that we don't mean, it is easier for us to grasp exactly what it is that we mean. All right. I like to believe that you are following so far. Okay. So there are a lot of things that and again, these are just general thoughts of things I've seen over time that people take product analytics to mean that, in my opinion, they are components, they are fragments of it, but that is not what this is all about. So, for number one, which is the big one, is that product analytics is not just about collecting data. All right. Data collection is a big part of what we are doing when we say we are doing product analytics, but it's not just about collecting data. In fact, I'm currently putting together a piece on at what point are you over collecting data. People don't think that is a possibility, but it is actually a possibility. There is such a thing as over collection. There is a time when what you are collecting is too much, right? It is a possibility that you can collect so much data and you will be drowning in data. Now, it's a process where there is so much data and you can't make sense of the data. It's just you are literally drowning in data. That's not exactly product analytics or any analytics for that matter. So it's not just about data collection. Data collection, though, is part of it, but it's not just about data collection. The second problem I always hear is product analytics is what some tech people do. Maybe data engineers, data analysts, data, and all the people that have data at the back of their name in our companies. If you work in a smaller company, it's easier to remove that barrier, because in a smaller company, you are probably going to do a lot of things, but if you work in a bigger company, one of the challenge you are most likely going to stumble into is to think that there is a set of people that this should be for. But in my opinion, I think everybody should, around a product, should be data analysts, should be interested in product analytics, from the marketing people to the product people, of course, which is a given for them, and to every other person that is making decisions across the organization or around that product. All right, it is something that everybody should be conscious about, and somebody has to own the process and make it available for every other person, so that everybody would speak at the same frequency and everybody understand the same thing about the product, and we are all driving towards the same goal. All right. And I know there is a module within the course that is speaking to that in terms of your engagement with the engineer, which are the guys who are going to help you with the whole tracking of the event and all of that at deeper level, the engagement with stakeholders, people who are going to give approvals to develop a feature, to change something, or to give you a go ahead to put money behind a particular feature or a particular initiative related to your product and all of that. How do you make that information available to everybody so that everybody can see with the same lens, and your work it's a lot more easier? I know there is a module in discuss about that. The other thing I need to mention is that it's not just about the numbers. The numbers are constantly telling us something. It's about what the number is telling us. The number is telling a story. The number is saying something. Now, it's looking beyond the number into what is the number saying, right? The number is great because the number helps us to make sense of where something is happening. But it's not just about the numbers. It is about what the number is saying. It's about the recommendation the number is making, but you cannot see it by just looking at the numbers. You have to, pay attention to the number so much so that it begins to, it tells a story to you. The number communicates the pains of your customer. The number tells you the frustration of your customer. The number tells you the smiles of your customer. The number tells you the indifference of your customer. The number tells you when your customer is feeling like, I'm in a relationship, I'm in an abusive relationship here. The number tells you when your customer is feeling neglected. The number tells you when your customer is already processing their divorce with you and they're already considering some other option. The number is telling you a lot of things, and you have to look beyond the number and look at the story that the number is telling you. All right. Again, that's where we're going to get into things like retention analysis, acquisition analysis, and cohort analysis, and different kind of analysis that you should be getting into to understand your product better and what is going on with your product. The final thing I need to mention, okay, two things more that I need to mention. It's not a one-time thing, right? It's not a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. This is another big mistake that I see people make a lot of times. They set up analytics and that is all, right? Part of the things that analytics is going to show to you is that in the same way that I talked about such a thing as over collection of data, there is such a thing as under collection of data. And it could happen for any number of reasons. It could be that at the time, new features come on board and you need to track those ones too. It could be that at the time there was an oversight or something that was later going to be a big part of the conversion action process wasn't even something that you think has any major impact. It was probably something that was there by chance, right? And then as you begin to look at analytics, you see that this thing that was there by chance is a lot bigger than you think. All right. So it's looking into all of those things and saying, okay, what do we need to improve? Okay, now that we're improving it, how do we need to track it? So it's an ongoing process. The existing data or the available data will always point to something else that you should probably collect in order to be able to make more sense of the current data that you have. So it's not a one-time activity, it's an ongoing activity. The final thing I need to mention on that is that it doesn't solve all your problems. It doesn't solve all your problems. And I don't know how to emphasize that enough, especially because one thing doesn't solve your problem. As a matter of fact, product analytics isn't even supposed to solve your problem. All right, it's supposed to show you. I think of product analytics like the mirror in my house. If I stand before the mirror tells me the truth. Okay, the truth about myself. It tells me that there is a stain on my face. It tells me that my lip gloss, if I wear one, I don't, it's looking funny. It will tell me whether I comb my hair well or not. It would tell me something about myself, but it doesn't fix that problem. I don't walk away from that mirror looking okay from not looking okay simply because I looked at the mirror. The mirror tells me the truth, but I have a responsibility to take action based on what the mirror tells me in order to move from looking not so great to looking great, right? And if probably I was running late for an occasion, I'll probably pick and choose what I'm going to fix in that process. I'll probably look at a small stain somewhere in one corner and like, okay, yeah, I don't like this, but it's not so much of a big deal right now. It's not worth the time I will use to clean it and run late for this event, that kind of thing. So it does not solve all the problem. And in fact, it does not solve any problem on its own. However, it gives us insight into how the problem can be solved. So with all of this ruled out, so what exactly is product analytics? It's the art of using data to understand how user interacts with your product. Loosely speaking, it involves collecting data, but not just collecting data alone. Data on user actions, analyzing this information, and making informed decisions to enhance the product experience. All right. So now you see all the components coming together. So it's about collection of data, but that's not the only thing. All right. And what kind of data are you collecting? Right? You are collecting quite a number of data, but it's also about analyzing this information. All right, it's about analysis. It's also about using the product of this analysis to make informed decisions. And that decision is to be able to enhance the experience that people are having. Because the data is telling you the experience that people are having in the first place. And when you analyze it, you can then make informed decision about how you want to improve the experience. Sometimes you really want to, right? You really want to improve the experience of these people. But technically, there's just a lot of things getting in the way, right? Sometimes you have resource constraints, you have skill set constraints, you have a lot of constraints, approval constraints, cost, in some cases, and all of that. So you are working in between all of these to then make a decision on what is important, what is least important, and what is not important. So, what kind of data do we collect? Okay, and this is where I'm going to do a little bit of moving in between my screen and away from my screen, because I'd like to show this practically. Sorry, I kind of also feel I've been talking for a while, but I like something to be visual. So there are 4 things we want to look into here, kind of data that you collect. So user behavior, and you use this to make data-driven decision, and you use that to improve the performance, and you then optimize growth. So I want to show all of that practically. All right. So the first one is it helps us to understand user behavior and how users interact with our product, and identify their common pathways and look at areas of friction. All right. Now, before we get deep into explaining that, I want to show you something. So I'm going to reduce this for a bit. Let me know if you can still see my screen. Can you still see my
your
screen?
screen.
Okay,
We can see your screen.
I'm showing a website now. Can you see that website?
Oh no, we're not
Not
seeing a
yet.
website.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need to work on my sharing.
Yeah, you need to share your window or the entire screen.
Okay, yeah, I was actually sharing my window. 1 minute. Oh, there we go. So I'm sharing screen 2. Okay, now you should see the website.
Yes.
Okay, great. So, and I'm going to, okay, so I have tried to simulate the mobile version of that website. So this is what the mobile version looks like. All right. Can you see the mobile version?
Yes.
Then, yeah, okay. All right. So now here's what I want us to do. We will look through this website first, and I'm going to ask you questions. How do you think that people should engage with this website? Okay. And then we are going to go on to look at how people are engaging with this website. Okay. And that is going to help us really drive home the idea of how analytics actually help you to understand your user behavior. And that sometimes we make a lot of assumptions about how people should think that is at very big variance with how people actually think. And sometimes when you see those patterns, you'll be like, people are just, they're just not. Why? But yeah, that's the whole idea. But guess what? It doesn't matter whether they think like that or they don't think like that. You want to make money, you have to follow them and go and think like that. All right. So let's look at this website. So I'm just going to scroll around and I need you to just follow around. So this is a website for a company that sells door in North America. So just look at it. This is a website. So at this point, you know, we expect them to say, okay, we want to customize our door, or we want them to get a quote or something like that, to request for a quote. And then if they are not convinced yet, they want to read more information, they can see some of the reasons why they are better than competition. They can see some sample of the work here at the bottom. I'm not sure anybody wants to waste their time coming this far anyway, but it's okay. So, but you can see more information and all of that, and then we have our call to action at different points. If you make up your mind after reading the information, all of these, just scrolling down like that. We even give some statistics, of how this product is going to perform and it's going to blow their mind, that kind of thing. Scroll down and all of that. And then we have the lead form here, which is really what we want them to feel, want to capture that information so that we can send them a quote and then we can begin business with them, And it was impressive because we really put this video at the background, so that you can see real time how, the kind of door we want to sell to you is functioning in real time. You can see that this is great, and all of that. All the proof you need, you see it just by just arriving at the website. Anyways, and the same is true for the mobile version as well. So scroll down, you see all of those things, and this is, anyways. So when we talk about responsiveness, right? You see how the web one look like, how the call to actions were positioned, how it's different from the way it is positioned on the mobile version. Almost everything is the mobile version is literally designed differently from the web version. So just going through this again, but you can see that all the components, everything that was supposed to be in the web was actually the mobile. The arrangement a bit different and all of that, but we have everything here. So the question is, if you were trying to buy a door online and you come to this website, how will you engage with it? So we want to have that conversation for a little bit, and then we go into how people are actually engaging with it, and then we'll come back to our conversation. I want to bring this to a different screen so that I can be seeing you, everybody, like the class to be engaging. Okay, so yeah, let's get back to where. All right, so now I will start with the ladies first. So I'm going to start with lady first. I'm going to start with Omotola. So Omotola, just give me the first 3 or 4 things that you are going to click if you are trying to buy a door and you land on this website. The first, if you just experiencing the website like this, what jumps at you? What are the first one in order of priority, 1, 2, 3, that you are going to engage with?
I want to see the custom solution first. What
Okay,
do
you want to see the custom.
custom
Okay.
solution? Before I even
Sorry,
know
we are
what they've done in the past. I want to see what they have.
okay. So 1 minute. I'm just going to try to take a record here. So we'll take everybody's responses. It's an analysis class. So let's start with Omotola. Omotola's number 1 is what?
Custom solutions.
Custom solution.
I believe that custom solution is showing us price or just showing us different custom solutions, right?
No,
Like
wait.
different doors or different services or whatever.
So by custom solution, you mean this one at the top, right?
Yes, this one at the top.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, custom solution.
So the reason why I selected custom solution first is because I want to know the different packages of what they have first.
The different package. So when you saw that custom solution, what came to your mind was
what came to my mind
this
is different whether services or products that they have. That's
packages.
what said to me.
Wow, interesting. Okay. So I'm
So
noting that.
once I'm done with that, then I'll come back to the home page and now read a bit further. But that's the first thing that interests me, custom solution.
Okay.
When I'm done
So
with that,
you will now scroll down, right?
go down just to read a little bit more about the company and what the company offers.
Okay, so you scroll down like this. Okay, let me know if at any point you.
So at this point, I'm trying to understand why should I go for that.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's more like
And,
why Findo. So I'm trying to read more about them. What makes them different from their competitor at that point? Now after that.
So what are you likely to interact with or click at this point?
So once I finish reading through, right?
Yes. So you read through everything.
I will scan through. Yes, I'll scan
you
through.
Scan through. Okay, great.
So once I'm done with this, then I will go to at the header, exactly.
Yes.
Where we said
yes.
Customize your Findo. I would want to try that out before I even
want to try this out. Customize Findo.
See what it looks like. After that, I can now click on get in touch.
Okay, then your 3 will be get in touch.
That's the 4th one.
Oh, which one is it? Second one?
The second one is coming back to the home page to scan through.
Okay, so after the first one is custom solution. The second one is scanning through.
Home page.
Then the third one is customized. And then the 4th one is get in touch. Okay, great. Thank you. So who wants to go next? Has to be a guy. Adiola and Sunday do the meeting, and Akinlabi do the meeting. Who wants to go? Okay, Adiola, we have you.
Okay. Well, when I land on this website, I would. So I think it depends on my intent, right, and how much I've known this brand for, and like what I want, like my like how much knowledge I have about them. But if this is my first time landing on this website, I think I would first, just like I think I'll first quickly look through. I'll first scroll and look at the pictures and just pretty much do like a very brief scan to just to get more familiar. I don't think I don't think I'll click anything immediately I land on it for the first time ever. But let's say after like getting a feel of what the brand is about, and because these pictures are moving, I think it will catch my attention, and I'll spend some time perhaps looking at the picture. I'll probably try to scroll this picture
True.
and to scroll through or make it move a little bit faster, so that I can really
So
understand
something like
what.
this.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I think I would
Okay.
do that.
So what I'm hearing you, number one, is you just scroll. And then you engage with pictures.
Pictures, yes.
Okay. All right. So
I mean,
now we're done with pictures.
I'm to buy a door, so I would like to see the different doors that they've done in the past. So I think the
Okay.
pictures would be very to me. Yes. Then I think I would click this drop downs to read more details. This low maintenance.
This ones. Okay.
Yes. I would click those. Yeah, I would click those. What else? Please continue scrolling. Let's see if there's anything else I'll catch my eye.
Okay. All right. And then we keep scrolling.
Yes. Okay. I think these numbers will catch my attention. I mean, I'm not actually going to click
The
on anything,
numbers.
but the 40%,
Okay.
the numbers will catch my attention. 40%
Okay.
greater insulation and small space. I think these are the different things that would convince me. Okay, let's keep scrolling. Okay, yeah, that's about it. That's about it.
Interesting that you did not convert it because
the bifold versus overhead doors I'll be curious actually.
You'll be curious about this. Okay.
I mean, I don't know what bifold is. I don't know what overhead is. So I would like to see the difference.
Okay. Great. So who wants to be our third experiment? Actually, we need 4. We need one more guy and one more lady. Of course, Mercy is going to come around. So who wants to go next? Chijioke or Akinlabi? Yeah. Vote. Okay, Mercy wants to go next. Mercy?
I'm not going next. I don't even know the question. I was going to ask if you could take the question again. I literally just joined. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So the question is, it's not a question, so don't worry about it. We are just saying this website that we have on the screen is the website of a company that is selling doors. And this company that is selling doors, you are visiting their website and you want to buy a door, all right, an industrial door for your car factory, okay, and you are trying to scroll through this website. We are saying, just looking at this website, how will you engage with this website, right? Is it that you first scroll? Is it that what will you click? What are the things that will get your attention, or how will you interact with this website? So that's what we're trying to find out.
Okay, so if I actually had an intention, somebody mentioned that it depends on the motive. If I was, I had it in mind that I wanted to buy a door, and I know their website, and then I'm on their landing page.
Yes.
So what I want to see is what are their products and services, what are the different, I'll scroll and then I'll look for the icon where it says products, and then I'll click on each one, read the specifications, if there are cost implications, and then I want to read reviews, what people have said about it, about their product. Then I'll probably now go on Google to find out about their own, what people had said about their products, people's experiences about different products. Then I'll come back to the website to now say, okay, I think this would work for me. And then, maybe reach out to, if anything is not clear, reach out to customer service, like contact us. And if it's pretty clear, and I'm sure, I'll probably just, go ahead to add to carts and check out.
Okay.
Or do something.
Okay. Are you likely to click on anything that you can see on this website right now? One of the things I noticed that you are likely
Sleek
to
modern
drop off
design.
customer.
Yeah, what did you say?
One of the things I noted is that you are likely going to be a customer that will drop off. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is that sometimes people drop off in engaging with our product for a lot of reasons, and it's not necessarily because they are angry. If you look at the third line that Messi is putting forward now, she drop off at some point to go and read Google review. Analytics is going to capture you as your session ended and you drop off, but you didn't necessarily drop off. All right, you drop off to go and read about to read their Google review, right? So, anyway, that's beyond the scope of this course, because this is dealing largely with marketing analytics. But one of the things that you are able to do, if this was a marketing analytics class, it would be a different conversation, because then we will be covering things around where do people go after they leave your website. All right, to just get a sense of when they leave, where do they go, right? Because it might give you an insight into whether or not an information
into why cookies and websites trace our steps and hunt us down on different platforms.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's my job.
And you go on Facebook, you are seeing those.
Yes. Unfortunately, that's what I'm getting paid to do. I'm getting paid to stalk you people everywhere. Anyways, that's not a lighter note. But yeah, so those kind of information are important. I was taking a growth marketing class. I used to take a growth marketing class on Sundays evening here in Canada, and they were shocked the first time that I said to them that their bounce rate may not be a bad thing depending on the context, and that a good impression might actually be bad for their business. It was literally a big shift in their thinking. People always think that if you have a good impression on your campaign and you have a good clicks, then it means you are doing well. It was a big shift, just helping them to see that a good metrics doesn't necessarily mean that you are in a good place sometimes. It's just about understanding the context. Anyway, so we'll get into all of that. So, but I'm saying all of that to say that one of the things I sense from your thought process is that you are going to drop off at some point. And it's not necessarily because editing on the site offended you. It is because there is an additional information that you need that is not there. All right. Anyways, so, but one of the other things I also notice is you are information heavy. So you are looking for a lot of information. So you scroll and scroll and scroll. The question is there anything on the site right now that answers some of your questions? Or some of the things you are looking for answers to? Messi?
Yes, there are some. For instance, a sleek and modern design. Yes, I would want to read how the technology around this particular product or these products work. But if I can't find reviews on their own website and how maybe their timeline of responding to clients, I would have to go and do that outside of their own space. But yes, some of the information I need, I might be able to find on their own products by clicking each of those pictures down, read more about the specifications and other things.
Okay, that's really interesting, because it looked to me that somehow you think that you can click on this Slick and Modern design and it can give you some additional information.
Yes. Or is it not interactive?
Exactly. That's a very big problem. That's a big red flag. The fact that you think that this should be something to click is a big problem.
Ah,
Not for you, but for the owners of this website. The fact that these items here are not to be clicked and they are just information. And the fact that you think that you should click them and get additional information shows a big gap. It means that there is something about this design that is making that text to suggest to you that is clickable.
yeah.
All right. Anyways, we are going to validate that thought when we get into the analytics just now. All right. So we need to take one more person before we go to the review. All right. So Akinabi or Shijoke, who wants to volunteer? 1, 2, 3. All right, Akilabi, you are on. So, what's going to be your engagement? You kind of know I was going to call you, so you might ask.
It's
All
fine.
right, so what's going to be your engagement?
So for me, I think I mean some of the things that could caught my attention here. I can see it. Number one, the messaging for me. I mean, I will have to. There's definitely I will have to first scroll down as a first time. Yeah, as a first time viewer, I want to see what they are doing in terms of the product itself, in terms of the brand, and I will also be looking at, even before I click anything, looking at testimonials. I want to see testimonials of people maybe who have used the products in the past.
Testimonials.
Yeah, so because I think that is one of the way that can truly show me. They need to demonstrate that their product can help me deliver that which I'm looking for. And yes, even before I click on anything, I think I'll move out from the website. I would like to go and check them out to see, I mean, to check in terms of their visibility online. I want to see their visibility to understand where they are, their ranking, look at their Google review. I want to see that is it a product that people has ranked in the past. I want to look at the review. I would take time to even spend more time on their reviews. If the reviews are not good, definitely they've lost me. But if the review are good, definitely I'll have to come back. And when I come back now, then that is now when I have to now look at some of the sections. For instance, as you have said, and as someone also said, this particular icon, I will click, but if I'll click just to see if it will display anything, and if it does not, definitely I know that is a poor design. Then I would like to see the customize your Finder, because I want to see that functionality. If I could customize anything, I want to look at that. I will not even look at the up parts for me, because I'm more focused on this thing, and I don't think I also click on customize solution. Yeah, I think basically those are the areas I will look at. And yes, I think basically those are the areas. I might not even spend, I'll just scan through the other parts. But majorly what I'm looking at is I mean, if there's a demo for the product to even see in terms of how to use the product, I'm focusing more on the use case of people, and not just use case. I want to see the persona of those people who have used it. And like I said, I have to go online. I have to go and check. I have to go back to see what they are doing, because at the same time, before I can see the product, I need to be be sure. I'm not sure there's pricing on the website, because it's also a very good stuff for me. I also want to see if the pricing is not something that I could afford. Yeah, if the pricing is good, and but I know for product like this, they have to get you a quote. You might not even see the pricing on their website for most of these product like this. But I don't think I will still get. I'm still going to click on get a quote unless I've seen all those things. That is when I can request for quotes. I think those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Sorry, can I quickly add something?
Yes, please.
Okay. So one behavior that I usually have that I usually exhibit. Sorry, and I mean I'm not sure how many people are with me on this. Is that a lot of times when I land on a new website, or when I land on a new website for the first time, after scrolling, and so when I scroll all the way down, I promise you, I click the Instagram logo. I click it. I always click the Instagram logo, right? To go to their social. So and this one because I'm a very visually influenced person. You know, I mentioned pictures earlier, right? So I'm just going to click on like just to go to their social media and see how active they are, and see and just like consume more graphic content, right? You know, look at reviews, look at pretty much how everyday people or past customers, you know, are interacting with their products, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I would usually go to Instagram when I land on new websites.
Oh, you are not the only one on that table, by the way. Okay, so these are interesting thoughts. Just stepping into a customer's shoe for a minute, right? And see if I'm a customer and I'm interacting with this product. This, based on what I can see, this is how I will interact, and this is how I will interact, and this is how I will interact. Now, there is a temptation for us to take that and see ourselves as the customer of the product and all of that, which is where we need to move to the next stage of looking for something more empirical as the basis for whatever decision that we make. But I just want to show you from this is Microsoft Clarity, by the way, and it's one of the tools that we're going to be using, and we'll talk about it in a bit. So I'm just going to look at the last 30 days and try to zoom in on that particular page that we just saw, which is this one. Okay, so now to put things in perspective, so this is the same website, but within the analytics environment. So what I want to show you, the one component I want to show you is what are the top things that people are interacting with. So if you look over here, you see that the number one thing people are interacting with is a scrolling to this right. Okay, so you will understand that when you, let's show you the website. So it means that people were literally scrolling down and they were coming here. And this is the first thing. This is what people interact with the most, as in the people who are interested in pictures. You said you are selling the, yeah, show me the photo. That's the way it looked to me. Like people are saying, okay, we are selling door. Oh yeah, show us photo. That's the way it looked like. So people they will scroll like this. Now let's look at the second thing that they engage with the most. It turns out that the second thing that they engage with the most is this. Can you see this? The scroll back. The first thing that they engage with the most is the scroll forward. The second is the scroll. So what it means is that they first scroll forward all the photo. When they finish looking at it, they now look at it backward again and now start looking at it like this. Okay. So in other words, there are two things that this is even showing me. First of all, that it's bad enough that they leave everything at the top there. They come down to come and look for this picture and start scrolling. But that they are so interested in seeing these pictures that they do a first glance, they scroll, and then they scroll back. Like literally, these people want to see each picture twice. The picture was that important to them. All right. I'm not sure if that would be my behavior pattern. So I found this surprising, but just listening to everybody now and just seeing how different people think about, the way people engage with platforms, how it is influenced by their philosophy. Now, what you want to be able to capture, which is where segmentation comes in. Like, if you know that people are going to engage with your website based on their philosophy, people that are more visual people will engage with it visually. So they will look for the visual point, right? So you want to be sure who are the people coming here. Are they the visual people? Are they the... Anyways, but it's just really surprising, right? That the first two things that they engage with is scrolling to the right and scrolling to the left. But let's go a bit further, right? Let's see a few more things. What is number 3? Okay. I'm trying to see where this number 3 is. Where is number 3? Oh, I can't find that. This is 2. This is 1. Where's 3? Okay, so I think there is another number that is covering it. If you absolutely need to find it, there is a trick to doing that, but I don't want to get into that because we still have a session where we deep dive into Microsoft Clarity. Let me just look at number 4. Interesting. Number 4 is people clicking on bifold versus overhead. That's interesting. So they come to this top and they click on this. And I remember Adeola mentioned that too. Right? Was it Adeola? Yes, it was Adeola that mentioned that she would want to.
Yes.
He would be interested in just knowing the difference. So apparently you are not the only one. A lot of people are actually interested in that. Number 5 is that people are interested in why Findo. Okay. People are interested in why you. Why should I pick you and not the other guys? Number 6 is custom solutions. That's interesting because I know someone Akinlabi. Look, it was actually Omotola that talked about custom solution at the top. Okay. Now, the seventh one is customize your Findo. Now, don't forget the real action, the profitable action on this website is either of these two. This customize your Findo, your door, and get a Findo, right? Which will lead you to get a quote. But that's like the seventh thing in terms of order of priority that people engage in, even though it is staring at them like this. The point is, people still make their decision altogether, right? Like, yeah, do what you want to do, but people are just going to, people, I think today's customers are more aware and they take a lot of time. We have, which is the biggest war that we need to fight now. We have more intelligent customers, and the way they engage with our platforms are very, very intelligent. We cannot afford to not deal with them intelligently as well. That's the point. Anyways, the last one I want to mention before I go into one more thing is this particular action of getting a door is the number 58th action. Like people literally, people are like, okay, yeah, I want to get the door, but that's not what I'm interested in right now. Right now, I want to know what you have. I want to know who you are. It's almost like people want to know every other thing but commit. They want to know every other thing, but they are not exactly ready to commit. So a lot of people are going to walk away from this website without any commitment. Okay, so you are likely to see a lot of drop off without conversion on this website, but there is also a lot of engagement going on. All right, and that in itself, it's not so bad, right? Because that data gives you an advantage. Okay, and if time permits, we can talk a bit. But the other thing I want to show you is the mobile version. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Now, it looked to me like the interaction with the mobile version is different altogether. User behavior can be very, very interesting. So, what's the number one thing? Okay. Number one thing when people browse it on mobile is actually that they want to customize their Findo. Like they want to customize their door. That's the number one thing. So, what of that? Anyway, we'll come to the part of what this is saying to us. But right now, we're just trying to look into the user behavior. Okay, and okay, so images is number 2. Okay, number 3 is people actually clicking on this image right here. Okay, scrolling through them one by one. Number 4 is people clicking on this bigger image. Number 5 is people closing that image because they want to do something else. Okay, so it's interesting how the behavior on the web and the behavior on the app, they are radically different. All right. And there are a lot of things you can do with this information because this data in itself, it's not your product analytics. You are seeing this data, but this data is telling you something. So, which brings us to the second conversation. So, we said it helps us to understand user behavior. And all what I've been doing all along is to help you see how analytics is helping us to see user behavior. Sometimes the behavior is crazy. Sometimes the behavior is not making any sense, but it is user behavior. And the user, excuse me, for want of a better word, is the one that want to buy your market. So what you have designed is, or how you have envisioned the product is not as important as how the customer is envisioning or how the customer is saying, this is how I want to experience it. You have to align yourself back to that. So that brings us to number two. Number two is that you need to make data-driven decisions. Data-driven decisions. So again, we'll go back to that data and we'll go around the room based on the insight that we can see, all right, from the web and from the mobile. What are some decisions that, if you were to advise the company that is doing this, what are some decisions that you think they should be making, or what are some new features or some adjustments they need to prioritize based on this interaction that you are seeing from this data? So again, we'll go around the room. Who wants to go first?
I think I'll go first. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer that the pictures should be paid a lot of attention to, right?
Yeah.
Perhaps, I mean, if I were the PM or the person in charge of this website, for example, I would invest in quality photos.
Yeah.
I would, and also make them mobile. Device responsive, sort of, right? So if someone is viewing on what's it called now, on PC, landscape for optimal effects, and if it's on mobile, portraits, I would also probably throw in one or two videos. I'll probably throw in one or two very well made videos, on there to improve that experience for people. Also, I'll probably also add a little bit of description to the pictures, right? So that people can know what they're looking at. Right.
Okay.
So there's bifold versus overhead up there, and people are interested in what bifold and overhead does. I would indicate that on the pictures so that I can so that viewers can what's the word now? Can identify a bifold door and identify bifold doors and overhead doors and see the difference without having to read a lot of text. I mean, I don't know what I'll see if I click on this bifold versus overhead, but people are
this is it. This is what you see. I just clicked it now.
Oh, okay. Well, this is not telling me anything. I'm not seeing any visual difference. I'm just seeing numbers and text. Yeah. So I think I would have quality pictures and videos there to demonstrate those. Yeah.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. So who wants to go next? Now we are making data-driven decision. So we've seen the data. what are the decisions that we are likely to make by just looking at this data loosely? Yes? Who wants to go next? I told you it's an interactive class. We've done some part of, we'll do some speeches and then we'll interact, because that is the idea of it. I mean, that's my kind of class. It's the only way I can guarantee that the whole thing is making sense. All right, so who wants to go next? What are some of the decisions? Just looking at this, this data, looking at what people are interacting with. This is the web one. Just understanding what people are interacting with, based on what we've seen so far. What would you, if you are the PM of this product, what are some of the immediate decisions you will make? What will you be engaging your engineer about to say data is showing this direction? We need to do this. We need to do this. What will you be implementing? Okay. Omotola, I'm back to you again. If you are the PM of this product.
Okay. Firstly, I'll go with what Adela said regarding more quality images, and then secondly, I'll go with what Messi said concerning those clickable stuff at the header, right?
Okay. Yeah.
From that data, from that insight, it automatically means that we need to re-strategize on the positioning of those touch points. Yeah, those two.
Okay. Yes. Who wants to go next? Either ways, I will still call you, so you better start just go next. Okay, Akilabi. What will be as the honorable product manager?
I'll prefer a lady to go. but maybe a lady should do again, so that at least, let's give our lady chance.
Okay. Okay. Later now, somebody will now tell me they've said everything that I want to say. Okay, so Messi, as the honorable product manager of this product, what data-driven decision? Now you have data, what decision will you make with it? You want to go back to your engineer and say, do this. And the engineer will say, why am I wasting my time on that? You just fly the data and say, data tells us. What data-driven decision will you make based on this? Data is hard to resist. I just like the idea of being able to show data and not argue too much. So, Messi, what decision will you make? Just looking at all of this.
Okay. For more, more graphics and more details to be provided on the website, and then for the page, that first page should be more interactive.
Okay.
Like you can click on different things. It will now probably take you to the page where responsive. Maybe that's what I want to use.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and just to extend this a little bit, is there any marketing recommendation you give to your marketing people based on some of the information you are seeing here? Just curious. Not just Messi, anybody. Is there any marketing recommendation you will make to say, wait a minute, if things are going in this direction, why don't we? Because me, I'm seeing one that I will probably.
One that I would say is I know some data that came in with the fact that people went all the way to Google to check the reviews and all of that.
Yeah.
what I would have also suggested is inserting testimonial reviews on the website itself.
Testimonial review. Yeah. Testimonial review. That's one. Any other one?
So, okay.
Yeah. Adiola.
I think for me, I'll probably run a campaign to compare buy food and overhead doors. I mean, so well, that is not a very how do I say it now? I'll say people are only clicking that because they can see it. Because it's there. Because I mean, if there were like two other types of doors, and I'm not this buy food and overhead. If there's something else that was there, they probably have clicked the same thing too. So I mean, we can't really say that people are particularly interested in buy food and overhead doors. But
yeah. So just to give you the context, overhead doors are more popular. Like if you do keyword research for overhead door in North America, it's big, right? But not a lot on buy food doors. But because buy food door is like a new invention, so to speak. But technically, they are better, but also more expensive.
Okay.
So,
I mean, so
yeah.
Okay. No, go ahead. I'm listening.
So my guess is the reason why people are looking into that is, okay, yeah, we've been hearing about this other kind of door, and we also know it's more expensive. So why should we spend that much money? I think that's what is driving the whole interest in buy food versus overhead. All right. So given that, what would be your marketing direction?
So I would probably run a campaign, perhaps a retargeting campaign, a Facebook campaign, to the people that clicked buy food by early doors, and I'll show them more content, perhaps video content, perhaps video content on the comparison and just try flesh out the details and convince them to go for whichever they choose. I mean, of course, I won't demarket one product over the other. I'll just like compare them fairly and justify the pricing. And just
to give you, we are going on break shortly. I don't know for how many minutes. Just to give you an insight into that, your thoughts is, so this client is actually my client. It's actually one of my clients. It's a very fantastic case study of that stretched by retargeted expertise. The thing almost drove me crazy. But the point is, I did exactly what you just said. What you just said now, I did exactly that. I created yes, I created a custom audience campaign for an MOF and created the separate landing page altogether that was driving to. And that right now is giving them 80% of their total conversion.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's what that point. That was why I gave Adiola thumbs up when he said it, because that point is conversion strategy entirely.
80% of their conversion right now is coming from there. I know that right now they make as much as 3 points in the neighborhood of 3-point-something million month on month. The last time we had
I'm looking for opportunities in the US now. I'm being transparent.
Anyway, so I've seen it work. And as you're going through some of those recommendations, some of them I'm just like, oh wow, it's amazing how people just think alike when they look at the number. There is a high chance that people are going to come to the same conclusion by looking at the same numbers. That's my point, right? Anyway, we'll get into some other things that I implemented and some of the results that are coming out of that. But we need to go on a short break, and then we would we'll come back to conclude this our introductory part and also do a walkthrough of the Pulse platform, which we're going to be using for the rest of this study. So, Biodun, how many minutes break do we have? Is it enough for me to eat amala?
Okay, so 10 minutes. Let's come back by 7. Yes.
Okay. So we'll be back, guys, by 7 o'clock, and we're going to have a blast. So see you at 7 in 10 minutes. All right. Hello, 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 hello. Mic testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Okay. Let me know if you are back. Okay. All right, all right, all right. I hope we're all back to our seat. Anyway, we'll know those that are not back now when we start calling names. All right, so far we've seen, so we've done 2 things. So the first thing we said about product analytics is that it helps us to see user behavior. And we saw that just looking at the data. The second thing is we said it helps us to make data-driven decisions, which was the second exercise I pushed you to do. Okay. The third thing is that we are able to also measure performance. Okay, we're able to measure performance measurement. We're able to measure performance. So in this case, again, to go back to the example. So don't forget that we are trying to get them to request a quote, right? Because that is like the statement of intent here. Okay, it's a bit different when it's a consumer facing product, and it depends on what is the nature of the product that you are managing. If it's B2B, it's a slightly different conversation, especially like in this case, right? These are commercial doors, right? Most of the time, you make this buying decision for your business. Most of the time, because it's not a door you put on your house; it's a door you put in warehouse. A door you put. So it's more B2B product. If I were, for instance, if I have an e-commerce site, right, that's more B2C. Again, could be B2B and B2C at the same time, depending on what kind of site it is. And then it's a bit of a different strategy, because then almost immediately when someone has actually carried out an action which you classify as conversion. A conversion action is an action that fulfills the goal that you are intending. Sometimes it's not necessarily commercial in nature, all right? But most of the time, it is commercial. So an action that puts money in your pocket, so to speak, or closely related to putting money into your pocket. For instance, when the customer requests a quote in this instance, we do not make money immediately, right? But it's the whole nurturing process down the line. Most of the time, the guy is probably going to request another quote from so many other companies and compare before they make final decision. So it's a bit of a long conversion process down the line. But there is something that shows you a strong indication of interest. In our case, is that leads of people who say, send me a quote. I want to know how much is this going for, right? It's a strong indication of that. So the question is, in terms of our KPI, how many of that do we have? Now, as a again, depending on your organization, as a product person, even though your biggest headache is to ensuring that you release a product that is market fit, but technically, what's a market fit product if the product is not converting, and if the conversion problem is not marketing led, it's product led, right? So, for instance, marketing did everything they can to get people to decide, but people just won't convert, right? they keep moving around in circle, confused, and then they could not convert, or they keep having different glitches and all of that, preventing them from converting. So the burden of conversion also from that perspective becomes a KPI that in a way you must be concerned about. And there are tons of other KPI that you would want to measure, right? For instance, is it a product that is supposed to get people engaged, or a product that should bounce people as soon as possible? So I'll give you an engagement rate. Basically, is how long people stay, on the platform, just moving around. Again, like I said, ordinarily, engagement is a good sign that people love to be around your product, except that sometimes it's a bad sign. Okay, so a good example, if let me give you a practical example of something that I used to explain this so many years ago. I used to be on QuickTeller as a product. I mean, I used to be at InterSwitch, so I worked on QuickTeller as a product. And I was in a room where we were having conversations sometimes ago, so many years ago. And the conversation was that the engaged session of QuickTeller is very poor. QuickTeller has its own problem, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of things that we weren't exactly getting right at the time. But then someone was like, oh, the engaged session is also terrible. And I'm like, okay, I'm not exactly sure if you want a great engaged session on QuickTeller. Think about it. What do people do? They come to the platform, they have bills to pay. The guy that has bills to pay is not looking to be romancing you people now. He's not trying to read anything. He just wants to come to the platform, select the bill he wants to pay, select the amount, click on it, and check out. I said, if the engaged session is good, that is when we have problem, because the intent of the person coming is not to stay long on that platform. So is how faster people get out of that platform that is good for us, not how long people stay. So I said, look, do a comparative and see. And when we did, I still remember, I used to remember that Heroku. And when we did a comparative analysis, we said, look, let's layer the period when our engaged session is great versus the payment success rate and payment failure rate. And we discovered that whenever we have great engagement session, it is because our payment is failing. So the only reason why people stay that long is because they try it the first time, it fail. So they try it second time, they try it third time, or they probably try it and the payment failed and their money was deducted, and they are looking for, where can I complain on this platform? Okay. I mean, it's good to just reminisce back the good old days. But the point I'm making with that is KPIs, right? Being able to check key indicators and put them in their proper context to say, because sometimes you need to ask yourself, is this a KPI that should be my problem? Should this be my problem? All right. To what level should it be my problem? All right. But more importantly, when you have finalized that, is that, okay, which analytics tool can help me to see this? All right. We saw Clarity, just now, how it's helping us see the user engagement. Again, because when you deal with product, you are working at the intersection of a lot of people, right? You are working at the intersection of, number one, the people who are going to help you in the development process, the designers, the developers, and all of that, right? And you need to convince them why they are, what you're asking them to build is worth their time. When you finish building now, the marketing people need to sell it, loosely speaking, right? So again, the data needs to help them in the direction of who they should sell to. The data needs to help them in the direction of what they should focus on in terms of their messaging and all of that. So one of the things that I wanted to show you, looking at that data, and it's interesting because most of the things that you guys have said, they are things that I already noted, just looking at this product. But there was one that I didn't notice it until today, and I'm beginning to see an opportunity, and I thought to share it with you. It just never occurred to me until this time. So if you look at this, right, if you come to the mobile, and the reason why I'm coming back to this is because of the conversion, the KPI we're talking about. If you look at this, the number one most engaged thing on mobile is to customize Findo. Now, let me take you back.
Okay. It was number 7 in the web. Okay.
Do you understand? It was number 7 in the web. Thank you for that. It was number 7 in the web. It wasn't so much of a focus until you come to the mobile. Now, when you come to the mobile, you now see that it is the number one most engaged with. Now, what is this all about? So if I come here and I click to customize my Findo, what it does is that it brings me here where I can, play around the model of the dog, right? I can select the height and all of that, but more importantly, I can select the color. It gives me control, right? I can say, oh, I want it to be coffee brown, right? It just, I can visualize what it is that I want. It gives me control, that control. And, I can control literally all of these, okay, number of panel and all of those kind of things. Right. Sorry, excuse me. Give me 1 minute. Okay. All right. So, excuse me. So this kind of give me control, and I can, do all of that. But what is interesting is that at the end of that, I'm then able to put in my information, right, and then request a quote. Now, so this brings you back to that conversion action, except that this time around, the conversion action is layered on top of something. You have, this guy is interested in customizing his dog, and you gave him that control. So he spent all of this time trying to customize that and all of that. And at the end of that, you are now saying, okay, now just drop your information and then we can send you a quote. How much is going to cost for you to get this beautiful design that you have done by yourself? All right. And we found that, a lot of conversion come from here because, and the only explanation is that with people having more control over things, things start to look a bit more realistic to them, right? That's like the only explanation I have for it, that if you are able to get people to come to this point, there is a higher chance that they will eventually request a quote. And I think it's because they are able to see all of this and say, oh, okay, I can, okay, this is what I'm going to get. Okay, well, give me a quote for this, that kind of thing. But the point I'm making is, if getting people to this place increase my chances of getting them to request a quote, and by extension, winning their business, then getting them to this point is a big deal for me. So even if they don't request a quote on my homepage, if they opt in to customize their door, that's a little bit of a win for me. Now, the question is, which of the platform helped me to actualize this? So if I come to my web, it doesn't. All right. It's on my web, it's almost like they are interested in every other thing apart from this. On mobile, suddenly they are interested in this more than it. It's almost like, and I also think, again, just a thought. I also think that because of the way the mobile looks, so I did a simulation of the mobile somewhere. So because of the way the mobile looks, so I look at this. Okay. It's just almost like, because I always wonder what is driving that decision, to be honest. Because if the mobile look like this, it's not so much different from the web, right? But somehow people just want to customize their field up. Right? But where I'm going with all of this is to say, at this point, I will separate my campaign. Okay, someone is raising their hand. Adiola.
Yes, it's me. So sorry. So I wanted to, what's the word now? I'm sorry. My grammar always fails me. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that the clients that mostly buy these doors are B2B clients, right? So I'm just curious. This is probably not about in the scope of this conversation. Is there a way to check which devices they mostly use to access this website? So like, do they like the traffic come mostly from mobile? I mean, since they are B2B, I would expect that they come mostly from what's it called now, from web, because I mean they'll probably be shopping for those while they are at the office and using their laptops, right? So I'm just curious as to where most of the traffic comes from, and if there's any tweaks that we could look at, any data driven decision that we could look at from that perspective.
Oh, there we go. I see.
What am I looking at? Okay, device category.
I'm showing you the device breakdown.
Okay, yes, 64% mobile and 28 desktop. Okay.
Yeah. So I think the other thing to now say is, again, still on KPI conversation, and I'm bringing this up because we are talking about how product analytics can help us with our KPI measurement. So in this case, we are trying to see the lead forms as they are being submitted, right? So let's just take a 30-day period. Okay. So we take a 30-day period, and I can just slice this data a little bit by layering platform on it, since you mentioned that. And then Yeah. So we do something like this. All right. So suddenly, can you see what's going on right there now?
Yes, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So it's so everything is beginning to make sense in light of what transpired on on that what's it called, on what the data that Microsoft Clarity was showing us just
For
now,
sure.
right?
It's
Yeah.
because most of
We-
okay, the traffic came mostly from mobile. That's why perhaps the market and the traffic, right, is it targeted at mobile?
not just the traffic. Let's go back to Microsoft Clarity. I wanted
The
to see.
conversion, even the conversion, and it's a no-brainer. Oftentimes, even if your web, I mean, this thing is, super spot on, your mobile will always deliver performance because even if you are checking on, you visit to via web, oftentimes you want to complete your stuff via mobile because you're always on the go. Most of these guys, they're always moving, they have meetings, they want to complete this thing. They are always on the go, on the move. So I mean, and I mean, I will be so surprised if we have checked the device and we saw that I mean, desktop is winning. Mobile will always win. I mean, based on what data tells us. Yeah.
So, but the 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 point I'm even seeing, just looking at the data, is that I also feel that people are more patient when they are on desktop device than when they are on mobile. I don't think people really do quality research when they are on mobile device. They do more of that when they are on web. And this is what this data is throwing at us, right? If you look at the direction in which people were engaging, the guys who came from web, these guys, they are professors. It's almost like these guys are interested in information. Like, look at it. They come here, they are interested in, okay, where is the photo? Oh, yeah, show me the photo. They look at that's the first thing. They see the photo. Oh, yeah, okay, show me again. They scroll back. There was the third thing. Okay, we couldn't find it. Number 3. Was that the fourth thing? What was that? They now come to the top here. They come and read. Read this. Okay, say good, 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 good. Then they are interested in this. Then they are interested. It's almost like these guys are information guys. If you compare that to the mobile guy, they don't have all the time. Like the mobile guy, he looks at, he opened, he said, okay, yeah, this is looking good, 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 good. Okay, let me customize the door. They said I can customize. Oh yeah, customize. And from customization, they request a code. So when I now come into my analytics, I'm not surprised to see this because these guys, the guys who access this website on mobile, the first action they did was to go customize. And the next thing after you customize is to request a quote. And most likely when you customize, you are likely to request a quote because that customization has the way of taking this whole thing away from the realm of information to the realm of reality, right? Right now, you can see what your door is going to look like. As in, you literally pick the color with your own hand. You pick the size, you pick everything, and you are saying, tell me how much this is going to cost. Now, another thing about why that is likely going to lead to conversion is because it's almost like you came to someone's shop, you designed everything it was said. When you design it yourself, there is an emotional attachment. It's no longer it doesn't feel like they are selling something to you anymore. It feels like this is my invention. I created this myself. This is how I wanted it. It's not, they are not selling to me. This is, I'm buying what I want to buy. Like I designed it myself. You know, there is that psychology that comes to the customer. So it moves away from the realm of information to the realm of reality. And then also there is a level of empowerment, emotion, and pride that the customer begins to have at that point. And what drives that whole process is mobile. So it's not surprising when we come to see break down the conversion, right? And we see mobile leading. Now, what strategic initiative can you advise your marketing from that point? If I'm seeing this, if I've seen this data, and I had to show this because Adeola was interested in what this thing is going to look like. So, based on this, what would you advise? You are a product manager, you are seeing this. What would you advise your marketing people to do? Obviously, there is an opportunity here that somebody is clearly missing. Somebody want to tell us that before we move away from KPI and move to the next thing, we need to move faster. Who wants to tell us? Oh, Akilabi, you raised your hand, or is it from before?
Oh, sorry, I think that was a mistake.
But since we have seen your hand now, what will you advise?
Okay, the advice given to so essentially, as a marketing, maybe like a marketing person, what I would do is, since data has already shown me their behavior, so in terms of how to convey that, I would deliver content. I would want to create content that deliver that performance, because, like you said, they are more intellectual. They want to know. So I mean, I have to you kind of put the kind of words they would like to hear in my communication. My messaging has to be tailored towards that people. And yeah, like we have also said previously, in terms of data, we also, I mean, I would like to like create a custom audience of anybody who comes to that my customized. I could even just set up a button click, and I could track that button click in terms of numbers. I know that, I mean, for those who also click on customize, it's also a good way for me to retarget them, even if they do not convert in their first visit. I can always retarget them and allow them. So I think those are like the one of the few things I would want to do in terms of marketing, and I think those are like the major thing for now.
Okay. Do you think there is something you can do with, so two things? Do you think there is an opportunity for something we can do with a push notification here based on what data is saying to us? That's one. Two, is there an opportunity for something exclusive for mobile users? And bearing in mind, so let me show you one more data that can help you put your thought in perspective. So if I come over here, okay, Adeola is raising it. I want to show you one more data point before you conclude. So, bearing in mind that there is also overlap also happens, right? 1 minute. trying to look for. Okay, that should be on the. There is a data point that I'm trying to look for. I want to see how the overlap. I've not done that in analytics in a very long time. In GA4, actually. I know that just comes to me by default in Google Analytics 3. I would have loved to see if there is an overlap between the web, the desktop guys, and this doesn't really give me that. What I'm looking for is if there is an overlap or if people uniquely use each of those platforms. It would have been easier to see this in Mixpanel. Anyways, but my point is there an opportunity to do something exclusively for mobile users? Just saying. Okay, so Adiola, you wanted to say something?
Yes, so I mean, this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but so I'm thinking that if a lot of people, or if most people customize on mobile, if they customize on mobile, and so I want to believe that usually when they customize like that, they are just playing around with colors, with designs, and just just trying stuff here and there, and they might not exactly know what they want yet, right? And they might not even know what they want at that particular point. So I think I think targeting people like these people that have engaged with the customization feature in the past. I think targeting them with like best with pictures or videos or content of best sellers or like best selling designs or popular designs, right? I think if I smartly target them with look at in the past week, these are the designs or them that are most popular that most people have ordered. So I think it will also help them. I think it might help them reach a decision faster because usually. I mean, as humans, we are social beings. We like to either mindfully or mindlessly jump on bandwagons or like follow popular opinions, right? So if I'm thinking, should I do 3 doors or should I do 4 doors or should I do this color or this color? I mean, color might not be relevant for those kind of business. But I think just targeting them with content that shows them what most people are currently doing or in the past week or in the past month. I think it might help them perhaps reach a decision faster.
Okay. All right. Anyways, so it's been a very great conversation. I mean, why we got into all of that depth was to just say that we could. One of the things that product analytics help us to do is to also keep track of our metrics that tells us that things are working fine. Okay, there are also timeline metrics. So the times it takes to move from A to B and B to C and all of that. So one of the things we are going to be doing when we get into Mixpanel is when we start doing our funnel analysis, one of the things we are also going to be interested in is how long it takes to move from step A to step B to step C. Just to give you a practical example of how that can be a lifesaver. Sorry, 1 minute. How that can be a lifesaver. While I was working on QuickTeller again, some many years well, not many years, some years back. One of the analysis I did at some point was from onboarding to conversion. And first of all, the product was quite interesting because there were like 3 or 4 stages of onboarding, of signing up, right? But to now convert, which is you at least buy something. And we discovered that people move from first stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 most of the time in one day. And the next stage, which is conversion, most of the time take a couple of days, sometimes months, before people then convert. So you have people who are onboarding. And we try to dig into, okay, what is happening between this step and this step? And that's the step where people are supposed to receive OTP and do some verification and all of that, which they are going to drop out of the platform, obviously, and all of that. I'm not sure if we've resolved that issue to date. But anyways, one of the things I remember doing at that point was to say, if it's taking this long, if they walk away for this long, chances that they will come back is very slim. So we developed what I call a 90-day automation system, right? That when you come on the platform, it was one of the most complex automation I've designed in my life. When you come on the platform, depending on what you do next, which can be any number of things. So you want to imagine designing that kind of automation. So I said, if you do this, then put the person in this bucket and send this message and watch the person's response, and then add the person to the next bucket. If you did this, then add the person to this bucket and take the person through this part of the automation. And if somewhere along the line, the person changes his mind and do this and add the person to, it was very complex. It was very, and it didn't have to be that complex if, if things, if a lot of things were straightforward. But again, you got to do what you got to do. So, but what then happened is that actually there were a lot of people who thought, I'm done with signing up, but they were actually not done. And it was as they were getting some of this message, they were like, oh, okay, we're not done yet. Okay, all right, let's get back into this, right? It made a difference. It wasn't so big of a difference, right? It wasn't a bang, but at least it was able to get a lot of people back there and was able to close the gap. So, and I'm saying all of that because as part of your KPI, the time it takes to move from one action to another action to another action is a KPI that you have to focus on. But all in all, product analytics and some of our analytics, some of which we're going to be going through, will help us to see how these things work hand in hand. All right. Finally, it is that it helps us to optimize growth, for optimization and growth. Optimization means that you are able to, exactly what it is that you need to fix, that you need to change, that you need to tweak in order for you to be able to realize more conversion, right? And at what expense, right? That you need to, because that's another thing that you will have to deal with. Knowing what you should do is one thing, all right? Being able to put a value that will drive the urgency. The truth is, if you're a product manager and you know that there is a button that is in the wrong place on your website, but you cannot change it because you are not a developer. I mean, you can change it if you are working on some very simple website. If you are working in the corporate setting where literally for every button you want to change, you need to go through layers and layers and layers of approval. Or for instance, if you are working on a product that has to do with commercials, has to do with people's money, nobody's just going to trust you that, okay, yeah, you think this button is not looking good. I remember when I deployed Hotjar feedback on QuickTeller that year. I could not sleep that night. I thought I had access to Google Tag Manager, and I was like, I don't need developers to be able to deploy this. So I just implement the code and just deploy. And the thing just went live on the live environment. So people were opening QuickTeller and they were seeing a small feedback button, by the way, which everybody should implement on their product. It wasn't about the implementation, it was about the process. I think it was this lady that was on QuickTeller back in the day, Ezewani just called me late today. I said, what's going on? You know, and I think core technology people thought we were hard. It was just, and I'm like, it's not that deep, but trust me, it was that deep. So, you know, they just said, you know what, take it down. Now we need to write through a proper channel, different processes, make a case. Why do we need that, and all of that? So all of those kind of things happens if you work in a rather more complex environment. I mean, I felt they were being unnecessarily overbearing. With benefit of hindsight, I understand that those bureaucracy they have a way of stifling innovation sometimes, but sometimes they are necessary evil that protects you. So, and I'm saying all of that to say that sometimes the data, the analytics platform throws information at you about what to do, but in reality, implementing it is way more complex than that. There are a lot of people you need to convince. But my point is, it makes it easy when you go into those conversations with numbers. Nobody argues with numbers. Well, these days people argue with numbers. But it's kind of hard to argue with numbers, right? When you are dealing with reasonable people who are not set in their ways. It's hard to argue with numbers, and you can win some bureaucratic battles faster. All right. So it helps you with optimization and growth. So you are able to, you know, increase your retention. You are looking at things like retention data, which we are going to look at. You are looking at conversion rate, and all of that, right? So you know exactly where to prioritize your effort. So I guess this is like the last part. I'm just going to run through this very quickly, and then we'll walk through the Pulse platform, which is the last thing we'll do for today. So why product analytics is very important. I already talked about some of this while I was explaining what product analytics actually mean. So informed strategy, you know, and which was what I was just talking about. You are able to prioritize feature. The fact that a feature is a problem, and we will deal with this when we get to A/B testing. So I have, I need to go and look for it, but I know it shouldn't be so far. I have a sheet that I used for A/B testing prioritization, so to speak. You know, I will share a copy with you so that if you guys want to do A/B testing in your organization, you can adapt it. But basically, what I did with that sheet is to say, the fact that I'm seeing the problem does not mean I should solve the problem, even though the problem is affecting me or the problem is affecting us. Again, like I said, it's more complex than that. For instance, by how much we're solving this problem, how do you envisage that? How much do you envisage is going to improve our bottom line? Number two is how much work is required. What is the level of the urgency? Is this making us to bleed seriously? Can we survive with or without this? Is it just a nice to have? All right. You also need to be able to answer questions like the volume of people treading in that direction. Are they majority? Are they significant minority? Or are they outliers? So you need to be able to differentiate all of that, to be able to say, okay, are they in the majority? So if they are in the majority, it doesn't matter whether they are making you money. It is that most of the people coming on our platform are going this way. Our product is designed to lead them this way. We need to, as a matter of urgency, change this direction that we've built to this direction that they are comfortable following with. Two is, are they significant minority? Meaning, there are not a lot of people working in that direction, but these few people working in that direction, they are our bread and butter. For instance, the closest I can use to explain this now is it's not exactly a product analytics issue. It's actually a marketing analytics. So I have a client that is hotel, and they are running two separate campaigns. Okay, one campaign is focused on hotel booking. The other campaign is focused on events and catering and all of that. But when I was doing the analysis, one of the things I noticed, because at anyway, let me not bombard you with unnecessary digital marketing jargon. I'm trying to say how I can simplify it. So I used an account level conversion that does not separate primary and secondary conversion. So what I mean by that is I designed the campaign in such a way that even though there are two different conversion items, I made it possible that either of the conversion could happen at either point. So people that are supposed to book hotel, the conversion I'm tracking there is whether a booking is successful. People that are looking for event, the conversion I'm tracking there is whether they submit a lead form to say, we want to do an event, is your hall available? Two different conversations, two different conversions, right? For two different set of people looking for two different things. What I did, however, is to make it possible that even though you are looking for event venue, there is a possibility that you can book hotel, and I want to be able to track that conversion and attribute it directly to you. I hope that makes sense. It's not complex. But what I now realize over time is that a very big amount of money was coming from people who were looking to book hall for events, and that big amount of money is towards hotel booking. What they came to do on the website was make inquiry about hall, but then they book hotel at the end of the day. All right. So when I saw that number, and I'm like, okay, so should we be optimizing in this direction? When I now look at the number, I'm like, it's great, but it's not that significant that I should alter the system just to account for these people. So those are some of the complex decisions you will ultimately need to make in terms of prioritization, allocation of resources, product roadmap based on the behavior patterns that we are seeing and all of that. The numbers are telling you something, right? But how should you respond? All right. So that's one thing. Two, we already talked about this, so I'm not going to pontificate about it again. Understanding user behavior, we already saw that practically. The other one is figuring out the pain point. Again, there is something in Hotjar or Clarity. It's called rage clicks. Okay, and we'll delve extensively into that when we start exploring the analytics to go. Basically, what it means is, rage, when you are angry, as in you are clicking something and it's not taking you anywhere. It's called rage click. So there is a measurement for that, right? That is tracking how many times people are clicking something that is not supposed to be clicked, and they are very convinced that it should be clicked. So they are clicking it and clicking it and clicking it, and you must take me somewhere. All right. When you have that, it's a red flag that you need to work on something in your product. It was one of the examples of what Messi talked about earlier, in terms of those small features behind the hero text that she thought were clickable, but technically they were not clickable. Right. So being able to pinpoint those frustration points of the customer, personalization and engagement. I think the best examples of personalization, I've seen a lot of personalization though, but the best example I've seen was from Cowrie Wise back in the day. I don't know if they are still that good now, but anyways, there was a time they implemented a feature where if you are accessing their app anytime after midnight, it will tell you to go to bed. You will just say, Oluwatayo, it is so time. You need to go to bed now. it was a rather interesting feature and personalization. I mean, the fact that it took my details, mapped that with timing, and emotionally trying to make me feel like they care about me more than they care about my money was just okay. It was Piggy Vest. It was Piggy Vest. Thank you. It was Piggy Vest. Yeah. So it was a very fantastic. It was a very fantastic, example of eye rolling emoji. So it was a very perfect example of personalization. But there are a lot of deeper personalizations that you can do if you are able to track an event, right? And you are able to tailor communications towards those people. So this is very useful in churn reactivation, and all of that. Then, of course, continuous optimization of the product. I did say at the beginning that it's not a one thing or one-time thing. It has to be continuous, right? You have to keep doing it on and on and on and on. All right. So with that said, today we're just going to conclude by looking at the platform that we're going to be using for our practical sessions. And my assignment to you as we conclude today is I need everybody to go on the platform and go and buy something. So the reason why I'm saying that is because I want us to populate the data. I want us to add more data to the platform. And I want to be able to see the effect of how there is a data spike, from every day up until today. I want to be able to see that as part of our analysis. So I want to encourage everybody, make sure you go to the platform and buy something today. It's free. You are not paying for it. So you might as well go and buy something. So I'm just going to try that. All right. So this is the platform. Have I registered? Can't remember. Anyways. Yeah. When you come on the platform, you see something like this. Yeah. And we are going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. And you people will be the one to decide whether or not we should still have this here. You'll be the one to decide. We will see how people are engaging with this. Anyways, I don't want to close it. I want to go contrary to my natural instinct, because my natural instinct is to close it, but I want to do otherwise. So I'm just going to click this. So I want to save. Let me copy this code. It'll be great to save. some money. What do I want to buy? I want to buy something really expensive.
Bye bicycle.
Yes, I like this bicycle. Let me add it. This one. Yes. Okay, so let's go check out. Okay. Ah, yes, yes, yes. So I don't want to add a note to my order. I just want to place my order. And okay, there we go. Oh, I didn't get to use my coupon code, but no problem. Yeah. So payment is successful. So guys, finally for today, I need you all to go on the platform and buy something. Don't worry. Oluwatayo has paid for everything. Feel free to spend the money. Buy something worth 2.5 million naira.
I was good to say, did you literally just buy
God, I beg you.
something right now?
It's been paid for. Just keep buying.
Oh,
No, yeah.
I want a scooter.
So guys, go ahead. Spend the money anyhow. It's been paid for. Yeah. So my payment is successful. Go ahead, try yours. But by all means, buy something. So we'll see
How's
tomorrow.
our right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So buy something. If you don't buy, we will see your name in the back end. We will see that your name is not part of our new customer for yesterday. Better go and buy. All right. So
What time is
this
class on Sunday?
yes. Class on Sunday is supposed to be what time again?
Tayo, we were deliberating on the time yesterday.
Yeah, we're deliberating, and I'm running by Oluwatayo, and so we have to still come to a middle
Okay.
ground because it doesn't work for both parties. So this is the place where we can talk about it.
Okay, so okay, let me open time converter so that we can be
You'll be
seeing.
in church at that time.
Let's just be seeing. Okay, so this is our time converter. So this is the time right now. It's 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. here in my part of Canada. And it's definitely what's this? What's the meaning of this?
8:02.
Yeah, that's 8:02 in Nigeria. So we have here people from where and where? UK, Nigeria, and where?
I think same time works for me, yeah, in the UK.
Okay, so now tomorrow, which is Sunday, I go to church at 10:30. I go to church at 10:30. Usually I'll be back somewhere between 1 and 2. So getting this same time to work tomorrow
Will not work.
will not work. Yeah. So the initial time I was proposing was somewhere
2 p.m. our time. That'll be 7 a.m. your own time.
Good. So 2 p.m., which is 7 a.m. for me.
Are they changing
Um,
your time soon, like daylight saving?
oh, we are back. We are back to normal. To
Because from tomorrow to UK will be the same time with Nigeria.
yeah, which is why we are using Nigeria.
Hmm.
So
So
I can do
let's
2 hours in the morning, which is 7 to 9 before going to church. It's pretty much easier that way. Um, and if we want to move this further, it would be, I don't know, because I'll be teaching a class at 5 p.m., which is somewhere here.
No, that's middle of the night. That cannot even.
No, I will actually, so
cannot
I'm
do
just saying
video.
that
You cannot do
if we
video.
need to push this video, yeah,
Is tomorrow class supposed to be 2 hours or 3 hours?
Yeah, tomorrow's class is 2
2
hours.
hours,
It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Can we do 8 to 10?
8 to 10.
Because 2 p.m. in the afternoon won't work.
Okay, 2 p.m. is 1 p.m. for you guys in the UK. From tomorrow will be the same
From
time.
tomorrow we'll be on the same time, so don't worry.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so if we do 8 p.m., what does that even mean? So
Catherine,
this
what time
is
works for you?
Well, I'm not sure to be honest.
Does 8 p.m. work for you as well?
8 p.m. in Canada. Sorry, I said Canada. In Turkey would be.
No, use UK, not Turkey. Are you not coming back?
Well, I'm not coming back until Monday. So for tomorrow's class, and I'm not even back on Monday. I'm back on Tuesday morning. So, anytime is fine by me. I will join tomorrow anyway. Just give me a shout, Tola.
So are we considering Tayo, are you considering 8 a.m. your time? Or 7 a.m. your time?
I'll do 7.
You're going back, oh. Tayo, you're
No,
going back, oh.
no, I'm not going back. What are you proposing, Omotola?
8 p.m.
Oh, 8
in the night.
p.m. in the night is I wouldn't subscribe to that for you to learn, for everybody to learn. You're preparing for work on Monday.
Yeah.
It may not be comfortable. People will be in class and be frying dodo. So Messi has said that mind. That's what she should be doing on the call.
That was a come on.
That's what she should be doing on the yeah, you may not retain so much information like that.
What do we do?
So that about 2 p.m. The people in Nigeria, does 2 p.m. work for you? 2 p.m. works. Adiola, how about you? Or has he dropped off the call? Who else has not spoken? Oh, Adiola has dropped off. Akinlabi, how about you?
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
I just like Akinlabi. Anything goes for him.
Yeah.
Messi, what works for you? For me, Sunday does not even work for me at all. Because I work every Sunday. I go to church in the morning. From church, I'm going to work. I leave the house before 9 in the morning. I'm coming back 10:30 p.m. So most of the time, my Sunday classes, I just watch videos to catch up, and if there's any assignments, my next day off. So anything that's okay with the majority, I'll just follow. Okay, so let's
okay. Alternatively, Does 5 p.m. on Monday works?
So, quick question: are we deliberating for going forward or for just tomorrow? That's another question.
Oh, it's going forward, actually.
Exactly.
Monday is another alternative.
So it appears that who wouldn't be Messi, you've cleared it that whether we choose one or two or three, you won't even be in class. You rely on the
I might join, but I will just mute because I can't use my phone
at work. Okay.
at work.
So is anybody here that the 2 p.m. Nigerian time isn't comfortable for? Okay, Omotola said it's not comfortable for her. Catherine, I find it hard to understand your position on this one.
2 p.m. People are just coming back from church preparing lunch. So that's the thing.
Well, something has to give if you want to be able to reach a middle ground here.
But it's 4 weeks, so
it's still frying of dodo.
Something has to give.
Oh dear.
So if people want to do 8 p.m., they have to promise that they will grab and they'll participate.
Let's not delight ourselves. Me, I know your energy level at that time. You're preparing for Monday. So it will not be 8 to 11 or 8 to 10 p.m.
That's 8 to 10.
It's dicey. It's dicey.
Voting time. Akilabi is not seeing anything.
Akilabi says anything is fine with him. Isha doesn't want us to take it to Monday, so he has said Monday is crazy.
Yeah. Or consolidated Saturday.
So we have 2 sessions on Saturday. Is that what you're proposing?
Or probably everything just like extra 1 hour, 2 hours, then 15 minutes break, another 2 hours.
That's an alternative.
See, guys, we'll just take forever in trying to negotiate this position. Let's do our 2 p.m. 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. so that we don't what's the English now? We don't sit on this mountain for a long time.
Yeah.
It's for 4 weeks, and we will. Something has to give for this kind of program. We need to be able to make those sacrifices to make this happen. So can we do our 2 p.m. tomorrow? Are we promising that we will show up tomorrow at 2 p.m.?
Yeah.
Because we haven't agreed, that's why I've not even sent the calendar invites just yet. So 2 p.m. tomorrow, everybody. That will be 7 a.m. for Taya. Taya is also, compromising okay. So Taya is also, because it's going to be 7 a.m. for him, which means he may have to even wake up way earlier because his church is not until 10:30 thereabouts.
Yes.
So please let's put that also. Shift ground here so that we can have a rich experience tomorrow.
Okay.
So I'm going to be sending the calendar invite for 2 to 4 for the next 4 Sundays. And I hope that we will be able to show up, and we will also get the recording at the end of each class. All right. So, we are like 40 minutes past the time. Thank you, guys. So what I'm sending this night is the meeting invite for Sundays.
I will send you a class survey for each classes. So we will send that to us on WhatsApp or Slack. I've not shared the Slack link. I also need a consensus actually. Slack or WhatsApp, where do we want to sit with the most? But I believe
I thought we have a WhatsApp group already.
yeah, there's a WhatsApp group. So
So what is Slack supposed to be for?
well, Slack is also supposed to be for communication, share documents, and all of that. But I just looked at the class is relatively not a large class, so we can just sit on one platform as against shuffling multiple platforms. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it at WhatsApp. So I will send the meeting invites this night, and so we'll see tomorrow again. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. Thank you so much, Tayo. Is there anything you want us to do apart from buying on Pulse tomorrow? Is there any other assignment you'd like to give us? Taya, you're muted. Okay, Taya has left his system. All right, so on his behalf, maybe I'll just close the class so that we can all get a good night's rest. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank
See
you.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
We'll upload the recording in Classroom.
Okay.